Fellow Nigerians, I'm citizen Adams Ali Oshiomhole. We are bringing our campaign to a close, and I think it's important at this point to speak to you on what I think are the critical issues in the country and the way in which the APC presidential candidate intends to deal with all of those issues that affect your lives, as captured in the plan of action which was extracted from the broad manifesto of the All Progressive Congress. For me, we can summarize these issues into 3 or 4 or 5 items. The first is to defend and protect the unity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. In my view, of all the candidates on parade, the only one who has proven record of managing a state in which you have people from across the 774 local governments in Nigeria is Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who laid foundation for this unity as governor of Lagos State between 1999 and 2007. He has continued to encourage his successors on the basis of well thought out long-term plan of action for Lagos to ensure that these broad policies are pursued by successive governors. And today, Lagos GDP is much more than many African states. Number 2, Lagos is the only state where you haven't had people fighting, killing themselves on the basis of ethnicity or religious differences. Lagos offers home to all of us. And we know that Lagos is one of the, if not the most populous state in Nigeria. That diversity has been woven into a working machine that's continued to generate prosperity, which is why even those who hate to hear the word Tinubu and who are not exactly happy about Lagos being called the center of excellence, they find themselves migrating and locating their businesses in Lagos. In moments like this, Nigeria needs a man who will build a country in which all of us will be proud of the Nigerian Green Passport. A country in which it is no longer who you know that determine what you become, but what you know. In a world that is knowledge-driven, a statesman that recognizes merit is the kind of person we need in times like this. The good news, there is no part of Nigeria where we don't have people who have brains, who have commitment, who are loyal to the Nigerian state. The challenge of leadership is to harness these brains and bring them together, provide leadership, give them the necessary political will to transform Nigeria into truly the greatest country in the African continent, if not in the world. We also understand that many governors, many presidents have made promises about fixing the power generation and distribution system in Nigeria. Tinubu is on record as having the bold initiative to introduce independent power plants, even though he was frustrated by the then president who was running the country under the platform of the People's Democratic Party. Whereas all Nigerians, or let me say many Nigerians, talk about restructuring the country and the right of each federative unit to pursue policies that are informed by the peculiarities of their own federative unit. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Lagos State Governor, is the only one on record who have moved beyond rhetorics to try to give practical expression to the right of the federative unit to manage their affairs as it suits them, which explains why he created local governments in Lagos. He got the endorsement of the people of Lagos, but he was frustrated by the then President Olusegun Obasanjo, who apparently had it overcome the principles of unitary government, even as he was elected to preside over a federation. He was punished. He was denied access to the revenue that ought to accrue to the local governments. But Asiwaju soldiered on. He chose the path of law and went to court, from High Court to Court of Appeal and to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court pronounced in his favor. The Supreme Court decision was ignored by President Olusegun Obasanjo, who was determined to bring Lagos on his knees. But Asiwaju insisted that his task was not to lament the frustrations, the harassment, the intimidation that President Obasanjo was pushing. He went ahead and diversified the revenue base of Lagos State from a meager 600 million to whatever it is today. Of course, like every source of revenue, it fluctuates between 60 and 65 billion naira a month. That is what leaders should do. Not to join the people to lament, but to see challenges as a motivation to work harder, to turn queries to queries, and not to join in lamentation. That is why people like us support him. When I was governor of Edo State, I never hid the fact that I copied a lot of his policies and implemented them in Edo State. And I'm proud to say Edo people are better for it. We do have this issue of tertiary, the quality of education in Nigeria. Besides the fact that we have unacceptable number of school children, who are out of school, Asiwaju has a clear, thought-out plan of action to ensure that he gives practical expression to the provisions of the Basic Education Act, popularly referred to as Universal Basic Education, which obliges every parent to ensure that if they must have a child, they must be ready to send that child to school. Today, it's a shame on all of us that we have huge numbers of children who are out of school. What it means is that these children have no future in a world that is knowledge-driven and knowledge-based. Asiwaju does not intend to lament these embarrassing figures, but to tackle it decisively. And how he will tackle it is very well articulated in the plan of action. Also related to this is the fact that we do have our young ones who have struggled through public or private primary and secondary schools and get trapped in our federal university system, as well as even state universities, such that a 4-year degree program now take an average of 6 years, sometimes even 7 years. And there's only one dispute that explains this endless disruption of academic calendar. Truth be told, this problem has been with us from the days of the military. It predates 1999. Military government after military government, down to Obasanjo, to Yaradua, Jonathan, and now President Muhammadu Buhari. This problem has lingered on. That doesn't make it acceptable. Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, by the special grace of God when elected as president, will ensure that a 4-year degree program does not last more than 4 years. by ensuring that the integrity of the university, of the academic calendar, is protected. The issue in our university system are not beyond solution. It had to do with funding. As I've had to argue when I was a labor leader and even as governor of Edo State, governance is about appropriate appraisal of challenges that confront leadership and well thought out priorities, such that you will find resources to do what you believe in. It is unacceptable that even the finance minister tells us repeatedly that Nigeria is spending about 7 trillion naira every year over the past couple of years in what is referred to or usually described as fuel subsidy, or what I call either opportunity cost at best or BFA stealing in the name of subsidy. Asiwaju in his plan of action is committed to removing this veil and stop this hemorrhage on our national finances, appropriate this 7 trillion in such a way that these resources will be applied to those sectors of the economies, particularly the infrastructure, and of all the infrastructure that we can think of. The most important infrastructure is the human capital. And with 1.5 trillion out of 7 trillion, our university will not only have enough to pay our lecturers well, but also to re-equip the university system, provide modern libraries, provide modern labs, and all of those things that you will find in a modern university anywhere in the world. Because there are no miracles in government. So you will see have saved about 5.5 trillion, even if you take 1.5 trillion and inject it into our university system. Yet I'm aware that the issues in disputes between government and the university lecturers, what is required to solve is about 1 trillion naira or even less, as was stated by one of the ministers in the Ministry of Labor. Number two, when people talk about job creation, it's not going to happen by miracle. No serious statesman should tell us that we can sustain double-digit growth or a growth level that is higher consistently over and above our population growth rate through the use of generators. The crisis in the power sector today have been complicated by the reckless manner in which the last privatization exercise was done by the previous government under the PDP, in which the distributing arm of the chain was given to friends and relatives who know next to nothing about power distribution, in clear breach of the Privatization Act, which says that to be able to participate in the privatization exercise, to bid, you must show proven competence in that field and the financial wherewithal to inject fresh money into the system. I'm on record when this was being done as the governor of Edo State, along with my brother, Governor Oduaga of Delta State. We did a press conference to denounce this reckless exercise and the way and manner in which it was done. Today, Edo Disco is a huge burden and the number one enemy of prosperity. Families are in the dark. Communities are giving estimated bills. Individuals use their money to buy transformer, which ought to be one of the distribution costs. And then those who are added over the discos go shamelessly to collect exorbitant, to impose exorbitant bills, which oftentimes is much more than the total income of a typical Nigerian community. President Tinubu will bring this to an end. the third leg. And how will that be done? We don't have to apply a cosmetic solution. We need a holistic review of the entire privatization exercise. The whole concept of a national grid for a population of 200 billion people, if it was appropriate under ECN, it's no longer appropriate in the 21st century with 21, with over 200 million Nigerians. As Waju has shown, and no expert has disputed the fact that there is no state in Nigeria in which power cannot be generated. And therefore you'll have pockets of power generating firms that will service different parts of the country, so that the failure of one part will not translate to darkness all over the country. I am convinced that there are no miracles in the life of a nation, but central to sustain economic growth is the provision of constant and affordable, competitively priced power supply. He has also committed himself to ensuring that he build on that aspect of President Buhari's program, which I believe was successful, namely the idea that we must go through reorientation in a manner that we imbibe the culture, the habit of recognizing that we can't be more sophisticated in our consumption than we are in our production, such that we must consume the food that we produce in Nigeria and produce in Nigeria the food that we consume in Nigeria. But to extend this logic further, as Uwaju has said, Tinubu, to deal with the current challenges of unemployment, Nigeria must return to manufacturing. This is not going to happen through prayers and miracles. Just 3 questions. What did we do wrong that Michelin relocated out of Nigeria to a neighboring country while Nigeria remained their main market? What went wrong such that Dunlop relocated from Ikeja to a neighboring country where they produce with Nigeria as their main market? I can go on and on. What happened to the textile industry? We can keep asking these questions, such that the industries in Lagos, Ikeja, Isolo, Apapa, all over Lagos, Kano, Bompai, Sharada, Port Harcourt, Transamadi Layout, Aba Textile, Asaba Textiles, Onitsha General Cotton Mill, Funtua Textiles, all those factories in Kaduna that had combined capacity of employing about 30,000 Nigerians, running 3 shifts in a day, and elsewhere. Today, we are all wearing foreign, imported, or even worse, smuggled fabrics. As Uwaju in his action plan is clear that to deal with the problem of unemployment on a sustainable basis and to create decent jobs with decent wages, Nigeria must return to the manufacturing sector, with particular focus on labor-intensive industries. So, my brothers and sisters and fellow citizens, this election is important, not in the conventional way in which people have been saying it, that it is a make or mine. No. It's important because we can see the consequences of long-time neglect of young people. The popular saying that an idle mind is a devil workshop is staring not in the face. For want of appropriate language, we now dealing with the consequences of unemployment and not yet the root cause of unemployment. And so we've rushed out of jargon. It is either we refer to some as terrorists, and there are terrorists. We refer to other categories of criminals as bandits, and they behave like bandits. We have kidnappers. Crime is expressing itself in various ways, but one thing is clear: the best we can do with the armed forces is to deal with the consequences of unemployment. The armed forces will not create jobs. However, this is not to suggest, as Waju is aware, that in the long run, we have to deal with the issue of unemployment. In the short and medium term, we have to improve on our security system. People usually refer to it as security architecture without speaking to the specifics. But Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu is very clear that we cannot secure Nigeria with the same number of policemen in 2023 as we had in 1969. Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu has articulated clearly in his plan of action that you can't have an armed forces of 250,000 soldiers, exactly the same number you had during the Civil War, when our population was about 50 million. Now we are 200 million people. So, but this is not just about throwing statistics, but it's also speaking to the basis for people to understand what we do differently to ensure that our country is safer, our businesses are safer, and we will be able to attract, retain domestic capital, and subsequently attract foreign investment. If you double the number of men in uniform, you add under 250,000 to policemen, you will have, by the same token, taken out 250 young men and women out of the unemployment market. If you also double, as we must do, the number of men in the armed forces, in the army, you will take out similar numbers, and you will have doubled the strength of the Nigerian armed forces. And everybody now recognizes that the capacity of the armed forces or security agency to deal with crime depends substantially on accurate and reliable intelligence. So the intelligence community will require not just more investment in modern equipment, they need more men and women trained to sniff around and feed the system with adequate intelligence for the other arms of armed forces working together in a collaborative manner to ensure that Nigeria is safe and secured. And lastly, Asiwaju is committed to showing, just like it's the case in Lagos, that our diversity can't possibly be a burden. It is indeed and should be our source of strength. What you lack in the north, you find in the south. What you like in the south, you find in the north. What the east are specializing, the west have their own area in which they are specializing. Weaving all of this talent together, no country can be greater than the Nigerian nation. Asiwaju is clear that our diversity is not a burden, it is a treat, a source of strength, as demonstrated by the way in which he has managed the diversity of Lagos State by playing up merit, giving opportunity to every man and woman, regardless of his place of birth and his choice of religious faith. We all can contribute and ensure that we build a great nation. So on Saturday, I plead with Nigerians to vote for the man, as our people will say, the man who knows road. There is no miracle. You can't subject Nigeria to a huge laboratory by handing it over to a man who has no proven experience. To hire the man who will take over the most important job in Nigeria, the number one job, which is the presidency of Nigeria, we must look at the pedigree of the individual. Happily, all those who are on parade, at least the 3-4 candidates that people often refer to, they've all been governors for 8 years. All you need to do is to check out their records. How many industries were they able to attract to their states? By the time they left their states, who can they point at as having sustained or built on the foundation they had laid, if there was a foundation? I think of all of them, the only man who has a secret that people are unable to understand Tinubu. What makes him relevant? What makes him tick? Many people who were governor when he was governor have passed away. Some are alive, but they are politically now anonymous. Why is Tinubu different? It's different because Tinubu likes to build institution. Of all those contesting, Tinubu is the only one who, whereas he has been consistent in the struggle for democracy, whereas he has continued to support a political party, he is on record as the only one who has never decamped from a political party. That speaks to character. He is the only one who, from all that is available, from available record, he is the only one who has supported other people other than himself for the presidency of Nigeria. The others, or the other two, have always been constant applicants for this job. One is on record as having decamped as a city vice president. The other had changed party, political party 3 times. All of that speaks to character. And so, talking about character, a man you can predict, a man who is ready to invest in what he believes in, not when it benefits him as a person. A man who believes in the Nigeria project. A man who left the shores of Nigeria to a foreign land on account of his determination to ensure that Nigeria is governed democratically. Those who fought for democracy, those who had the audacity to challenge military dictatorship, of all those on parade, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the only one. The rest are on record as having done business with various shades of military government. Asiwaju is the only one you can't say. He was a chairman during a particular military regime. He has been constant on the side of democracy. So, my brothers and sisters, we have equal stakes in this election. It's about getting the right man for the job, who will harness the finest brains all over Nigeria, who will ensure that women don't need to go to Abuja to fight for quota, because if we in this house, he is not a man of tokenism. It's about really recognizing that Nigeria cannot realize its full potentials if 50% of the population which women represent are not adequately represented in government or given opportunity to demonstrate their skills and knowledge. More so now that the world has moved from brawn to brain. Whichever way you look at it. The APC candidate, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is the right man for the job to be the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. I ask you with due respect on Saturday, to come out peacefully, equipped only with your PVC and no more, to go out and vote for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as president. But because we are running an American system of government, you also need to have a parliament that will complement, that shares the vision of the president. And so we plead that you vote for APC senators, you vote for APC congressmen, members of the House of Representatives, APC governors, and of course APC House of Assembly. Remember, once you get the head right, the body will behave. Thank you. I should vote wisely for Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Saturday, the 25th of February 2023, so that he will take over from President Muhammad Buhari whose tenure will end on the 29th of May 2023. God bless you as you vote wisely. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.